Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time to get into our first rotation battle in the free battles in Pokemon Omega Ruby. Now, as I said yesterday, it's going to be possibly pretty frustrating. There's going to be the chance for a lot of a lot of legendaries in addition to Mega Evolutions hitting my opponent's side of the field, and I'm going to use just the Pokemon that I've been using in the past couple months or so of the Pokemon X and the Pokemon Omega Ruby games. So, if you want to check out the team that I've assembled for this week, I got a link in the description down below. Click that and you'll go to that video of the team builder that I put up yesterday. It'll show you the team that I've chosen and the movesets, the held items, and super training and such. So, with all that being said, we're going to start off the first rotation battle here on the channel in Pokemon Omega Ruby. Let's begin. Alright, we're going up against my opponent from Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. And they have, well, hello team of nothing but legendaries. Welcome to free battle on Battlespot, folks. We see a Kyurem Black actually, a Giratina, Reshiram, a Rayquaza. I've seen so many Mega Rayquaza in the Battlespot. It's just silly. And we have a Mewtwo, possibly Mega, and a possible Primal Kyogre. So, the opponent will probably lead the Rayquaza because that seems to be the only thing people lead when they have this on their team. I can get a decent Icy Wind to slow that down. Actually, I can get Icy Wind off on almost everything here for decent damage and slowing them down. So, I think I'm definitely going to bring Spritz, but I want to lead Bullwinkle to try to intimidate whatever might happen to be a physical attacker. So, Bullwinkle and Spritz and Keaton are the first three options. As for the final option, I think possibly I'm going to give Chuck a shot with the Focus Sash to make sure he doesn't get knocked out, as well as the Thunder Wave to slow things down. Bulldoze is also an option too. So, with possibly the most fitting music ever, we have the Primal Kyogre battle theme. Is that going to be what they send into battle? Now, from my experience in doing some of these battles, if they do have a primal reversion Pokemon in play, as soon as it rotates off the active spot, the weather condition goes away as well. Alright, so we're going to intimidate the Kyurem Black. A Dragon Ice type with the, I think it's Bolt Strike or Fusion Bolt, one of those Bolt special moves. Definitely my first idea, I'm going to rotate right out to Spritz to go for an Icy Wind. Although, would Rock Tomb be the way to go? It'd be super effective against this particular Pokemon, whereas Ice is neutral. I think we're going to go Rock Tomb. Both have the effect of slowing the opponent down. Dragon Breath. Well, we're defensive. That's not the most powerful Dragon move there is. It could paralyze, but it's not going to. So let's slow you down. And of course, hardly any damage to worry about, but we do have Iron Head on Bullwinkle. I'd rather try to get a little more damage off on this first. I'm going to go Icy Wind this time, expecting they might rotate something else around. Nope, they're just going to keep it in, and actually, my Wartortle outspeeds this now? That is really unexpected. Well, I'm happy about it though. And Fusion Bolt. Well, let's see how defensive we are. It's not Stab. I think you can take that. Yeah, not super well, but you did take it. Now, expecting they might do that again, I'm going to rotate out right now to Bullwinkle, go for an Iron Head. The only thing that would really be a negative here would be if they rotate into Mewtwo, which I'm pretty sure will outspeed my Bullwinkle. But we're going to give a shot to go for the Iron Head. And they stay active, the Iron Head is going to connect, super effective. One more will drop this. And there's Fusion Bolt. I don't know if this has a chance to paralyze or not. I'm hoping it doesn't. It's really not that powerful either. I was just double checking their levels. They are all level 50, right? Alright, so we know Spritz will not take another Fusion Bolt. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with an Iron Head. Maybe. If I headbutt, we do get the stab boost. I'm trying to think if I can actually take this out. If they send in the Mewtwo, then headbutt would be the way to go because of the stab boost. But if Mewtwo comes in, it's going to outspeed anyway, I'm sure. So let's just go Iron Head. See if we can take this Kyurem Black down. Alright, so we're going to drop the first Legendary on the opposing side at least. Down goes the fusion of Kyurem and Zekrom. So the final Pokemon on my opposing side comes out, and it's going to be probably going to be that Mega Rayquaza. At this point, we have to try to slow things down once again. So, without any further thought, we're going to rotate in Spritz once more, and Icy Wind is the way to go now. Most definitely. There we go, we're going to see Mega Rayquaza. At least it's not Mega Shiny Rayquaza, that's pretty common as well on the battle slot. So, with the Mysterious Air Current in play, the Icy Wind is no longer super effective against flying types, but Mega Rayquaza is still part Dragon, so the Icy Wind will be super effective in that sense. If we can take this Dragon Ascent, it's a big if. No matter how defensive we are, that is a Mega Legendary. Nope, down we go. Now, the defenses have just dropped. At this point, we know Chuck is coming in. I'm going to go for a Thunder Wave, which will automatically paralyze whatever is active, and the Focus Sash will ensure we don't get taken out in a single hit. Now, this is the reason I want to do the the rotation battles in Omega Ruby, because I get to show off the contest star ribbons that I've been working so hard to obtain. So, Thunder Wave right now. You can keep this up, you can bring up whatever, we're surviving a hit, and we're paralyzing them. Alright, super powerful, we do take that. Well, I should say the Focus Sash takes that. And your defenses have dropped even more. Now, the thing about Mega Rayquaza, I'm pretty sure it can actually hold an item in addition to being able to Mega Evolve. And the Moody. Our special defense just rose. If there was a way we could heal, that would be great. And our physical defense just fell. See, Moody's fun. You never know what you're going to get with it. Now, since the defenses have just dropped, and they could be fully paralyzed, I think now's a good time for us to rotate in Keaton and go Mega Evolution. And I'm going to substitute right away. I just hope that Mewtwo doesn't come in. Good, it stays back there. Alright, Mega Heracross is ready to do battle against a Mega Rayquaza. Let's hope they're fully paralyzed so we can at least get a hit off. It is! It went for extreme speed. Okay, now we're in a good spot with Keaton, but I'm going to rotate out right now and go for Bullwinkle and try and take this Mega Rayquaza. I don't want our substitute broken before we can take out that Mewtwo with a Pin Missile. So we're going to rotate out, go for a Headbutt. See how much we can do. The defenses have dropped twice thanks to those two Dragon Ascents that Mega Rayquaza went for. Yeah, one more Headbutt, and we get the flinch, which I'm quite happy about. Are they going to try to swap something in? I don't know. They don't seem to be very rotatey. I think our best bet, I'm going to go for a rest attack right now to get ourselves back up to full. So we're going to fully heal up, and we're going to eat that Chesto Berry, wake up immediately. And if we're lucky, although I'm not going to bank on it, this Mega Rayquaza might be paralyzed once again. Dragon Ascent. Alright, that's going to hurt. We might be able to take that, though. I don't know. I'm hoping. Nope, down we go. But down go the defenses again. Now, at this point, I'm thinking a Pin Missile from Mega Heracross could finish this. I think that's going to be the way to go. They might go for extreme speed, seeing that the game automatically rotated up Chuck. But we're going to rotate right out and go for a Pin Missile. It's going to drop the Mega Rayquaza. It's going to be super effective against Mewtwo. Won't be effective against the Giratina, unfortunately. But at least we'll get some good damage off on whatever there is active. Extreme speed. That might break the substitute. Yep, down it goes. But we did survive the hit, and now we're going to get off some damage on this Mega Rayquaza. How many is it going to take? As I said in the team builder, the skill link will make sure we hit all 5 times. So we only need 3. And the mysterious air current will dissipate. Now, since the speed has dropped, of course this Mewtwo is going to outspeed us. So I don't think there's much hope left for us to win this one. We're not defensive enough to survive a Psychic from Mewtwo. Even if I rotate in Chuck, we're not going to be able to get a Thunder Wave off, but I'm going to rotate him in anyway and try to go for a Thunder Wave and hope Mewtwo goes for a move that might happen to miss. Or they can just go Shadow Force. Nice thing about being a normal type Bibarel is we are immune to that. Let's see what Moody gives us now. Accuracy rose and attack fell. Well, that's okay. Your most usefulness is going to be to paralyze this Giratina. So Shadow Force does not affect us. Thunder Wave is going to connect. Now what do we do here? Okay, Moody. Special Defense rose, which it did earlier. And Speed fell. Well, we're definitely not going to outspeed that Mewtwo this time. Or any longer, I should say. I'm going to rotate back to Keaton and put another substitute up. We see they don't rotate out. Okay. And Draco Meteor misses! Nice! Okay. Alright, so at this point, the most effective move we have against this Giratina is Rock Slide, but we're not going to be able to get any really quick knockouts with it, and I'm expecting Mewtwo might come around, so I'm going to go Pin Missile right now. No, the opponent just doesn't want to rotate. This is the hard part with rotation battles. You have to anticipate the most effective move on, whichever Pokemon might come up. They probably didn't want to rotate it in because of the Pin Missile that we have. And Aura Sphere will connect. We do resist that, though. And that's not Stab. Does it break the substitute? It doesn't break the substitute. Alright, I'm going to go Rock Slide. Or should I? No, I'm going to go back to Pin Missile. I'm going to stick with that. Once they saw how much that damage did, I was thinking they might have rotated out, but apparently not. But if we can get one turn of paralysis on this Giratina, then we can... There's a critical. We can definitely knock it out with a third Pin Missile. At least I think. It looks like we might be able to. Alright, can it be fully paralyzed? Yes. So, I'm going to actually rotate out right now. See what we can do to get a... Waterfall is the most effective. Our attack did fall. I'm just going to go Waterfall and try for the flinch. If we can take this Giratina down before Keaton's substitute breaks, then we can most likely floor that Mewtwo. Okay, Draco Meteor. So special attack is going to drop again. That's why the Aura Sphere didn't bust our substitute. Alright, so hopefully that little damage you got off with Waterfall, Chuck, is going to be enough for Keaton to finish this Giratina with a Pin Missile. Let's see how well we can do. I'm pretty sure we're going to do that. So this should drop the Giratina, and then the only thing left is the Mewtwo. Now my concern, if it's a Mega Mewtwo X, then our Pin Missile will not be super effective against it. But we just dropped the Distortion World Legendary Dragon with 4 Pin Missiles, plus another 10 from previous turns. 14 Pin Missiles, that's quite a bit. Alright, nothing left to do except go for a straight up Pin Missile attack on this Mewtwo, which might Mega Evolve. There's no telling. The opponent is carefully selecting what happens next. Psychic will break the substitute, of course. It's all coming down to this. How much can we get off with the Pin Missile? Alright, Keaton, give it your best. Your attack power is massive. Looks like we're probably going to do it. Yep, there's 2, 3, and 1 more. Drops the Mewtwo. And we win with a critical hit on that last one, which wasn't necessary by any means. But we win the rotation battle against a team full of legendary Pokemon. Congratulations, guys. You did great. Alright, my opponent in what will be the final battle of our first rotation battles here on the channel from Fukuoka, Japan, I think that was. I see we have some legendaries. We have a Zygarde. I don't think I've actually battled these before. So Zygarde, Lucario, Sylveon, a Diancie, Audino, and Xerneas. I don't think we're going to see that Sylveon in battle because it is only level 17, and none of the opponents have any held items. Kind of one of the benefits of free battles is people just kind of come in with legendaries and mega evolutions. Well, not even megas in this case. They just come in with legendaries and think, we're just going to walk all over the opponent's side. Not going to happen if you don't really plan for it, though. Now, I'm talking big. I might still lose, but let's see what we can do. I think a good lead is going to be Bullwinkle. We can get the Intimidate drop off on, well, Lucario. I don't think anything else will be really physical offensive. But if the Zygarde is going to come in, I'm going to also bring Spritz for the Icy Wind, double super effective, and will drop speed. And I'm also going to bring our Mega for the team is Keaton, so that's choice number 3. Now this week we haven't yet used the Brain, so I'm going to bring him and give him a shot in the rotation battle as our 4th choice. Alright, final battle gets underway against my opponent, who unfortunately I cannot pronounce the name of. See what 3 Pokemon they lead off with. I hope they don't send the Sylveon, because I would like to have like a more evenly balanced battle. Okay, 2 Legends and a Lucario. But as I said, fortunately we know it's not a Mega Lucario, because there was no held item. Attack falls, Aura Break reverses the other auras that are in play, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter if it rotates out, it's going to do just the Fairy Aura of Zygarde. Xerneas is going to have an effect. So, all that out of the way, I'm going to rotate right out to Spritz, go for an Icy Wind. Even if they rotate out, we will get the speed drop on whatever comes in. And we see Land's Wrath, one of the signature moves of Zygarde, if I'm not mistaken. We easily shrug that off, and we're going to slow you down a bit. 2 more of those and we'll get the knockout. In fact, I think at this point, instead of going for that, I'm going to go for a Scald and see if we can pick up a burn on whatever they might happen to rotate in. Even if this Zygarde stays active, we could burn that as well. So here comes the Xerneas with the Moonblast. Can we survive that with the Fairy Aura? We do. Go for the Scald. And no burn. But we do think a good shot would be to rotate out to Bullwinkle and go for an Iron Head. I don't think he's gonna... Well, he probably outspeed the Lucario. Actually, yeah, there's no reason not to. I'm gonna rotate right now, go for an Iron Head from Bullwinkle, try to get some super effective damage if the Zygarde... I keep saying Zygarde, if the Xerneas stays active. It does, we connect. And we can drop that thing with... Oh, that was a critical hit. So Moonblast is going to hurt in retaliation. But we survived with 4 HP, okay. Now at this point, I think I might have to rotate out again. Lucario is probably going to come in. In fact, I'm going to rotate out to Keaton. I'm going to Mega Evolve, and I'm going to substitute. Now, now I was going to say Xerneas, and I corrected myself. Xerneas might outspeed and get a Moonblast off and simply drop the Mega Heracross, but we're going to give it a shot. Rotate and Mega Evolve, and I chose Substitute. They didn't rotate out, so this could have been a big misplay. Come on, can we outspeed and get the Substitute up first? We do, so we're going to survive a hit. We won't lose the Mega Heracross just yet. Actually, we're not going to lose it at all, because that Hornleech is not going to destroy the Substitute. So, what do we go for the attack? I think we could probably finish it with an Arm Thrust. If Lucario comes in, that's going to be super effective. It'll be neutral against the Zygarde. That's the best way to go, Arm Thrust. There's Lucario. Nice and Steel type. So we resist that, but with the attack we just took, they're probably going to bust the substitute right now. Not very effective, and down it goes, but we're going to have a Skill Link boosted Arm Thrust coming back your way. Going to take 3 from the looks of it. Down goes the Steel Fighting Puppy type. Puppy type? That's not a thing. Alright, so the opponent is down to 3 Pokemon. I still have the Brain in reserve. Here comes Audino. Normal type. I'm going to spin around back to Spritz. I'm going to throw another Icy Wind their way. If they bring Xerneas back up, he's not going to survive another, or she's not going to survive a Moon Blast, but we do get Icy Wind off first. The Audino is very slow, apparently. And we lower the speed even more. And Thunderbolt, super effective, but can we take it? Barely, but we do. So it has just boosted our Scald, thanks to the low HP and the Torrent ability. Would the Xerneas come back in? Even if it does, I'm going to go for Scald. Because if it comes active, I can just rotate back to Bullwinkle next turn, go for Iron Head, but none of that happens. We got the Scald off, we don't pick up the burn, but we get Simple Beam, so we no longer have Torrent. Our ability is Simple. If we got a way to boost our stats, that would be really great, because the Simple ability doubles the stat boost or decreases of whatever, stat changes that you happen to inflict yourself with. I'm going to go Icy Wind. No, I'm going to go Scald again. Although we don't have Torrent, it still should be our best attack. And no burn again, but the Thunderbolt is going to take us down now. Well, that's alright, you did your job. Spritz, you can take a rest back in the Pokeball. And in comes our final Pokemon. The Brain is taking the field in our first week of rotations. So let's see if we can have a little bit of fun. I think immediately want to go Telekinesis. No, I'm going to Light Screen first. Get more defensive on our side. See if the opponent going to rotate out. I don't think they have anything that the Brain has to fear. No Dark or Bug attacks. They could surprise me though. And they're carefully selecting what to do. I want to see if I can get a little more damage off on the Audino, possibly get the knockout. I basically want to have Bullwinkle come in and go for the Iron Head against that Xerneas. So Light Screen, thanks to the Icy Wind earlier, the Zygarde is slow, and the Brain, who is not invested in speed, he does go first, get the Light Screen up. Dragon Pulse is not going to be as effective. Yep, hardly anything. Even though I'm pretty sure the Brain has the lowest possible IVs in special defense, unfortunately. But he took that like a champ. Now let's have some fun with the Telekinesis. We're going to hurl something into the air. The question is, what is it? And I wonder, it'd be neat if Telekinesis would make it so that the target cannot use ground attacks. And Moon Blast, again, we do have the special defense boost from Light Screen, so unless they get a critical, we do they did get a critical, we still survived it. Right, so we've been launched skyward. Now, how can we use that to our advantage? Definitely the Brain is not going to take another hit. Bullwinkle is almost down as it is, but I think best play, I'm going to rotate him in and go for our first rest attack. I'm pretty sure he outsped the Xerneas. If not, we're about to find out. He does, so he outspeeds, he gets the rest off, full heal, Chesto Berry will wake him up, and the Light Screen will protect us against whatever Moon Blast is coming our way. We know we can drop this thing with another Iron Head at this point. Secret Power. This could paralyze. However, it does not. Alright, so let's go ahead and go straight up Iron Head attack. Whatever rotates in is still going to take some pretty good damage as well. So now goes Xerneas. The opponent is down to Audino and Zygarde. So a Dragon and Ground type, what's the best way to deal with you? I think we're going to rotate back to Keaton, go for another substitute, because we know we're going to outspeed this Legendary Ground Dragon. And then we can start getting off some either Pin Missiles or Arm Thrusts. Arm Thrust is probably the way to go in case they swap in the Audino. I'm going to go for a Land Wrap perhaps. We do resist it. And it is blocked by the light screen, so half damage from that as well. That shouldn't break the substitute at all. Light screen just wore off. Now, if I really wanted to make a super play, I could switch back out to the Brain and put the light screen back up. But I don't think there's any need for that. We're just going to go Arm Thrust and either drop the Zygarde or drop the Audino, whatever they want to keep in the active spot. So definitely this battle would have been a lot more challenging if the opponent had held items to benefit their team. Fortunately for our side though, they didn't come prepared for that. What are they going to do? Essentially, right now it's a matter of which Pokemon do you want to have dropped by the Arm Thrust. There's no way either of them is going to survive this. Unless I misread the HP bars and I thought that was Audino's health. But anyway, we're still in a good spot. Now we can use another Arm Thrust and definitely knock out either of these two Pokemon. That will break the substitute. It's going to extend the battle a little bit longer, but I'm going to rotate back to the Brain and put up another light screen. A little bit more on the defensive side once again. In fact, after this I can swap out to Bullwinkle and go for a Headbutt and probably knock out either of these two. And Glare. So the Brain is paralyzed. I was considering having him go for a Focus Blast, but now I don't think so. I was going to see if I can get him to get one knockout, but I think definitely the way to go is we're going to swap out to Bullwinkle and go for a Headbutt attack. It is same type attack power, well, same type attack boost power. Should drop either one. And I must say, I'm quite happy that we're seeing footage of my team able to stand their ground and deal damage out to legendary Pokemon like this. It's a nice change of pace for the channel, especially after all the massive failures and losses we had in the double battles. Alright, what are you going to go for? As I say, either thing when it comes active, it's going to take a very powerful headbutt and probably drop. And since they're taking so long to make the decision, I wonder if they're just letting the timer run out and the computer's choosing to move for them. That's possible. But down goes with a critical headbutt the Zygarde, leaving just Audino on the opposing side. Currently 3 against 1, so nothing else to do but go for another headbutt. Most likely getting the KO. Down it goes, so we win another match in this week's premier example of the rotation battles in Omega Ruby. Good game to my opponent. Well now, that was definitely a good start to our series of Omega Ruby rotation battles, I must say. Now, in order to keep these videos relatively short, I'm just going to do 2 rotation battles per video, since the battles can take quite a while to play through. In the future, if I do have the time, I might be able to squeeze in a 3rd battle, but I'm going to aim to keep these videos around a half hour or so, since they might start to drag on any longer than that. Anyhow, we definitely had a good showing for our first rotation battles. 2 victories against teams sporting legendary Pokemon. Unfortunately, these battles weren't as competitive as they could have been. For example, the last trainer did not equip any held items to any other Pokemon. Granted, that did make things a little easier for our side, which is certainly appreciated given that we were up against some powerful legendaries and we're not using any of them ourselves. But I think the plays and the predictions that I made were pretty much spot on for the most part, only a few misplays perhaps during the battles. I'm hoping that future battles will prove to be even more of a challenge, because it's in the face of challenge and overcoming great difficulties that the more rewarding victories occur, at least in my opinion. Something I did take note of, though, is that I think the aura abilities of the Kalos legendaries only take effect like Intimidate, like when they first come out of the Pokeball. In that last battle, when Xerneas rotated to the front, it didn't say its Fairy Aura activated. I think that's why my Pokemon were surviving its Moonblast so much. If that's the case, it's definitely important to decide which Pokemon you send into the front spot of a rotation battle. I believe I mentioned during the battles, like if I choose Bullwinkle as one of my first 3 Pokemon, I should send him in the front spot so his Intimidate will activate, then I can just rotate him out if I want to use another Pokemon's attack. If I rotate Bullwinkle in from the side, his Intimidate doesn't activate because he wasn't in the front spot. So the same should be noted when using the Kalos legendaries. That actually might be a way to have Zygarde and Xerneas or Yveltal on a team and prevent Zygarde's Aura Break from hindering its fellow legendaries. Anyhow, with all that, we come to the end of our first week of the Omega Ruby free rotation battles. Feel free to leave me a comment down below letting me know what you thought of these battles and any suggestions for better movesets or strategies I could incorporate onto the Pokemon that I used for future battles. Your comments could be a big help, not only for myself, but for any other viewers who might like to try to use some of the Pokemon that I used today on a team of their own. Also, if there are any Pokemon that you see in this group shot that you'd like to see me use in next week's team, leave that in a comment as well. Now remember, I'm going to try to focus the team for each week based around one of my Pokemon that can be the Mega Evolution, and build the rest of the team from there to cover their weaknesses. Anyway, once again, this ends off this week's battle video. Thank you as always for checking out this video, folks, and I'll catch you next time.